Welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of July 1st to the 7th. We are now moving into the second half of the year. And if you were following any of my Astro forecasts, you would know that the second half of the year is the spiciest. So it is going to be fast, it is going to be busy, and there's a lot of things coming up here. Because remember, we are birthing 2025. That is when all of the outer planets, 5 of the outer planets, are going to be moving into new signs. So the energy must shift. Now we're humans. Energy shifting is not feel comfortable for us. So there is an easing, right? So let's see how planets go retrograde. We'll dip in and dip out, dip in and dip out. So we're kind of getting tastes of these experiences so that when 2025 comes about, we're not having to cut people from our lives and, run off and join the circus. I mean, not that I'm advocating for that, but just noticing what is trying to move out of your life, what is trying to be released now, and maybe where are you holding on past the shelf life of relationships, of habits, of the ways that you are treating your body, other people. It's now time to move into something different. And when I mean something different, I mean something that's kind of up leveling your life in some way that feels aligned to your soul's purpose, right? Because that is the compass of how all of this is navigating, is your intuition. It's what's feeling inside. And here's the thing, as a soul, is we evolve through our lives, right? So who you were in 10 years, 20 years ago, not the same person you are now. Your values will evolve as well. And you are evolving as a soul. So things that might call to your heart now, you might think like, I will never have done that in the past, right? And that is okay, right? You are evolving. There are things that are opening up now, and the astrology shows this, especially in your progress chart and your transits as you move forward, that the year ahead is going to bring up a lot of shifts and changes for many people. So this week, we start out in a fourth quarter phase of the moon in Taurus. So fourth quarter phase means it's losing light. We're getting ready for that new moon, which is happening at the end of this week. And so it's a time of release. It's a time of letting go of what has been, thanking anything that has served you that is no longer relevant, and noticing what is not really feeling aligned for you anymore. It's also a time of not having a lot of energy when we're in this part of the moon, right? So if you're a menstruating woman, this is the week that you have, around the week right before you have your period. So that's the energy of this week. And in Taurus is about nurturing and nesting, and we want to be sensual and eat delicious foods and be practical, methodical, and kind of slow down a bit. So even though we have some fast aspects right now in the sky, you're still going to notice this wanting for you to sort of slow down. It makes sense because it's the first week of July here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's the start of summer holidays. So it's a time where we are just, everyone's kind of shifting modes now into summer mode. And summer mode isn't the same as, June. June mode is like ramping up, especially the teachers. They're trying so hard just to get to the end of the school year. And September it's got a whole new vibe to it in terms of beginning. But July, August tends to have this vibe of like slow down, slow summers, enjoying life, holidays, things like that. And we're going to start to feel that this week. So on Tuesday, July 2nd, we have Neptune going retrograde in Pisces. Now, Neptune is a slow moving planet to begin with anyways. And in Pisces, it's about spirituality, connection, one love, connection to divine, compassion, empathy, caring, and nurturing. So when Neptune goes retrograde in Pisces, this is now about really understanding, removing again the guises of our passions and purpose, what is holding us back from, what are the illusions that we're creating for ourselves that are making us feel like we're stuck or we can't move forward in our life, or what will people think of us, right? Imposter syndrome, which isn't actually true, right? So this is a time of introspection and spiritual reflection. This transit offers a time to reevaluate dreams, illusions, and spiritual beliefs. It's a period to reassess what truly resonates with your soul and let go of any fantasies and deceptions that cloud your vision. And I feel like this is going to be a bit of a theme for the summer, because it's like, what are the fantasies? What are the guises? What are you subscribing to that isn't actually true? It's going to be hard. I'm going to lose family. People are going to think of me in all of that BS, right? The people who love you are going to celebrate your successes and your joy. They want to see you win. So there's a connection there to what that looks like. maybe it's a question of what is that about for you? Why is that? Why are you attaching to that? Because it's not actually your truth, it's their truth, right? So Neptune will stay retrograde until December 7th, 2024. So it's a longish period of time, but it's enough to kind of help us to say, like, where are we not, clouding our vision? What is truly our vision? A lovely thing to think about when you're on vacation or when you're just mulling about and just letting things kind of sit on your soul, and what comes to mind is always beautiful, or what comes up from your soul to be witnessed by the conscious mind is always something profound when you're in those times of contemplation, but not overthinking, right? There's a difference between overthinking and contemplation. Contemplation leaves room for spirit. It's a difference. All right, Mercury also on this day, July 2nd, is a very busy day. So on July 2nd, we also have Mercury trine to Neptune, and Mercury is in Cancer. So it's a very intuitive, emotional placement for Mercury. Mercury is our mind, our thought process, our connection to each other, and communication. And Neptune and Pisces retrograde we just talked about. So this is a wonderful time to really enhance and feel your intuition, feel your emotions, and know what is it telling you, right? Enhanced intuition, creativity, and empathetic communication. This aspect favors deep emotional connection, conversations, artistic expression, and spiritual insights. So a great day to do some meditation, to go on a retreat, to maybe go swimming. Water is very conductive. It's also very relaxing. A great time to really be in the emotion. And both these planets are in water signs. So a great place to channel your water wisdom, which is your emotion and intuition. And then also on this day, so this is in order of how it's happening, right? Mercury is going to move into Leo. So Mercury is in Cancer as it trines Neptune, and it's going to continue to trine Neptune even as it moves into the beginning degrees of Leo. So Cancer is a water sign. It is emotion, intuition, it's nurturing, it wants to nest, and Leo wants to be seen on a stage, right? It is J-Lo, right? She is a Leo. So it's stepping on a stage, being seen, a storyteller, your gifts and talents, your unique voice. What is your creative expression into the world? And how are you manifesting that? How are you showing them? So Mercury now becomes a great storyteller. We might love to hear stories told, go to the theater, see movies, have experiences that are fun and playful. Leo is fire. It's fixed fire. Fire is passion, motivation, desire, inspiration. So this is going to be a really wonderful placement for Mercury to be inspired, to tell great stories. If you're a speaker, a great time to craft your talk. If you are someone who just loves to enjoy life, a great time to go to the movies, go to the theater, really see performances that speak to your heart that will also inspire you. Right. So this is a bold expression for Leo, Mercury moving into Leo, bringing flair for dramatic communication and creative thinking. This transit encourages confidence and self-expression in sharing your ideas with enthusiasm. And Mercury will stay in Leo until June 7th. Sorry, I think that's supposed to say a different, it'll stay in about a month. So it's going to, it's actually going to be pretty fast. It's July 17th. Sorry. So that is a typo, which I will fix. And then also on July 2nd, Venus in Cancer trines Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So there's all this water energy again, right? Venus is still in Cancer, which is nurturing, intuition, and she loves to connect, and it's what she loves and values. Venus represents what we love and value. So in Cancer, we value safety, connections, being in nurturing places where we feel cozy, where we feel safe, right? That's a really big one. And Venus in Cancer really just wants to get along with people, but it can also be a very boundaryless place. So we may, in our relationships, want to accommodate, appease, and please, other people. And with this trine to Saturn is helping us to be responsible with our relationships, be responsible in our relationships, create boundaries in our relationships. So this is a really great placement. This forms, this trine is a harmonious aspect, bringing stability and commitment to relationships. This aspect encourages long-term planning and emotional responsibility in love and financial matters. So this is about responsibility, because Saturn is about responsibility, and it's removing any guises or any illusions that you might have about that. So this is a really important time to be wise with your money, to notice. This would be a great time to revise a budget, to plan for a trip and think about things wisely. We have $500. How can we make all the things that we want to do fit within this $500? That would be a good time to do that. Now, moving to Wednesday, July 3rd, Mercury in Leo now is opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And the Aquarius Leo aspect is about my voice, my gifts and talents, and how we use those gifts and talents to elevate humanity, right? We're not just being so individualistic and so ego-based that we are only talking about what we want and trying to make our bank accounts bigger and to the benefit of no one. You know, I always say, money in the hands of good people amplifies good in the world, right? So we want to understand that with our unique power, with our unique gifts and talents, we have come here to elevate the collective in some way, add to the benefit of everyone. And Aquarius is humanitarian, right? It is charity. It is people who are there for each other. It's Medicare. It's also taking care of the environment. It's innovation. It's technology. So anyone, you know, with anything that kind of comes to do with Aquarius is about elevating and innovating, right? And we have these two planets opposite each other. We can start to have a bit of a battle of wills, right? What's mine and what's not. This can also create idealization or idealism, where people are, righteousness is another one, where people are like, you don't know, I know. I'm better than you. You don't have a clue. You know, it's division. This is divisiveness. And we want to heal the divide, right? And how we heal the divide is by looking within. Where do I judge me so that I make sure that I'm a good, upstanding citizen? And therefore, I will judge you by the same thing that I judge myself, you know, sometimes a little bit harder. So this is highlighting potential power struggles and intense communication. This aspect calls for deep honesty, transformative conversations, and addressing hidden truths. But I will say these deep honesty and transformative conversations must come with safety. If you are trying to tell someone what's what because you know best, guess what you're going to be met with? You know, a lot of resistance, defensiveness, and the pushing back of no, you, no, you, no, you. And that's what divisiveness does, right? It divides us and it makes us righteous because I know better than this person. And we tend to demean the other person as a way to make our authority more viable, more authoritative, more real, right? And we saw that a lot during COVID, right? My view and your view. And like, I was like, well, all views are actually valid, right? All views are actually, we need to acknowledge all views. And then what we started to get was this resentment, was this deep grief, which started to kind of come up in ways that where people just want to be heard. So they're going to get louder and louder and louder, right? So we always need to acknowledge the other person. I hear what you're saying. This is what I hear you saying, right? So active listening, reflective listening. Then also when you're talking is, this is how I feel. This is what I am thinking, right? It's not like when you do this, you make me feel. No, the only person that's responsible for feeling anything, you're responsible for what you feel, right? So there can be some really wonderful deep insights uncovered in this, but there can also be a propensity for some power struggles and people going, no, I'm right, no, you're wrong, right? And we want to just really open up that dialogue for active listening, acknowledge listening. You know, I hear what you're saying, and here's what I am saying in that. And here's, you know, where we can agree to disagree, or maybe come to an agreement that we both care about something, right? We call that chunking up in NLP, where we chunk up to a place where we both have a connection agreement. You know, in essence, we are all humans, right? We have that in common. We all love and we all lose. We all feel grief. We all have these complex emotions. We all have our history, right? And we are perfect for the programming we have encountered in our lives. So like we all have so much in common. We are a human race. We all have blood, we all have flesh, we all have DNA. Like we all have so many commonalities, and yet we focus on such differences, right? And that is that piece. We want to just move away from that and realize and respect that everyone has a valid opinion on something that they're going through. My whole thing is it bringing you joy, or is it pulling you down in your life? And where can we bring more joy and amplify goodness in the light in the world? I have clients and friends who are activists who are pushing for social change, and it's a hard place to be because you're working through trying to change the world, but not losing your joy, not losing your individuality, not losing your soul purpose and the things that bring you in fulfillment. Even though there are such atrocities and awful things happening in the world, we need to have both. We can't lose our center because and never be happy because these people are never happy. That's not, or are not happy, or when they are free, or when we have, it's like your joy is contingent on that. And they would tell you that they don't want that for you, right? They don't want you to be unhappy because they aren't happy. But what they do want is us to be a voice for them, to say the things that they're not able to say, that they are not, like, really have no power to say. So that's kind of my soapbox on activism, is that yes, we can be an active voice in the world. We can donate to good causes. We can sign petitions. We can share things that are happening in the world. And we're also allowed to have joy. We are also allowed to have purpose. We're also allowed to have our own fulfilling experiences and be grateful for what we have too. And the two can coexist. We are dynamic individuals. All right, and Friday, July 5th, we have a new moon in Cancer. What a beautiful time to set an intention. So this new moon in Cancer is at 14 degrees of Cancer, and it's happening 4:57 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 6:57 Eastern Standard Time p.m. And or don't forget my people on the west coast at 3:57 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Or sorry, Pacific Standard Time. So this new moon in Cancer is when the sun and the moon come together at the exact same degree to the minute of Cancer. And Cancer is a sign of home, family, nurturing, inner foundations, really shoring up who we are, what is our safe space, and what's a part of us that we don't really show to the world, like who's our truest essence of self. That's why intuition, emotion, the divine feminine is all Cancer. So setting an intention for this part of your life related to nurturing, to security, to personal growth in some way. And whatever intention you set now, put it on the calendar for January 13th, 2025. If you don't have a January calendar yet, or you want to put it in your, Outlook or Google Calendar, whatever intention you set now will come to the light of new understanding at that time. That is a cycle, a complete cycle. That will be the full moon in Cancer at that time. So this is how we ride the cycles, and this is how we manifest with the moon. You set your intention now and start to build to that for a culmination of some kind for January 13th. And it's not like you're finished, right? Like you're done. I'm done manifesting this thing. Like it's an evolution. You learn about yourself. You understand why you don't have the thing that you want, what's holding you back from that, what isn't safety, and you kind of pendulate in. You kind of like titrate in a little bit, and then you move out, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, right? So for example, if you're wanting to step onto a stage and do a talk, but you're a little nervous, then maybe you do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, or maybe you do a little talk at a local event, or you do an open mic night, right? And then you do a bigger stage and a bigger stage and a bigger stage, and you grow from there. Our nervous system requires those little incremental growths, right? Because we cannot just step into a big monumental shift. It requires safety from within. We will sabotage ourselves every time. So an interesting aspect that is happening on this new moon in Cancer is a square to the nodes of the moon. So the nodes of the moon are our karmic path forward and where we have left, right? So the north node is our karmic destiny. Right now, as a collective, we are moving towards an Aries destiny, and the nodes change every 18 months. So they move into different signs. So it takes a full about 18 years to go all the way around for us to come back to another north node in Aries. So this is kind of helping us see change along the path of the trajectory of the moon. So this nodes of the moon, sorry. So the Aries node of the moon is asking us to be more self-reliant, to take charge, to be an initiator, to have courage to boldly go where no one has gone before. It's the first sign of the zodiac, right? And so when we have this square to this new moon, we are having on the south node, which is what are we releasing, is in Libra, which is about codependency, relationships, and where that we have been stuck to, or the word is taken a vow to, I will never make myself bigger than you, so you never feel bad about yourself. Like, we're releasing all of that garbage, right? And because we're moving into, again, this new paradigm in 2025 that cannot have you connected to things that are holding you down. So it's a time now that you might notice relationships are morphing, metamorphing, changing and shifting. Things, you notice people are kind of coming into your circle that you didn't kind of notice before, or maybe they weren't as close and now they're like so in tune with you and you feel really connected to them. I've really been noticing that myself. And I know that these people are coming into my life because they're seeding a path that is going to be taking me into my vision for my life, my soul's purpose, my mission. So this square to the moon is asking you to discover what makes you really happy, and where are you connected to others in such a way that it holds you back from your vision, your mission, your purpose, right? So there can be friction with relationships during this moon because of not only the intuition and the emotional nature of a new moon in Cancer. So really stay grounded, do some reflective exercise. I'm going to give you some reflective questions that might help you during this new moon as well. I do this in my Instagram and Facebook posts. On every new moon and full moon, I'll do a post. I try to release it the day before, so you actually have it with you and you can reflect on some of these questions or areas in your life you want to focus on. So some reflective questions for this new moon is, how can I create a secure and nurturing environment while pursuing my personal goals? Right? Your personal goals are not going to be in alignment with all the people in your life because you're up leveling, you're changing. And I notice in my biggest shifts and up levels, that made people in my life really uncomfortable. And I could not understand it. I was like, I'm still me, y'all. Like, you can come with me on the journey. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. And I realized only lately is that I probably became pretty uncomfortable for them because I'm not subscribing to a lot of the things that we used to do to connect. And they might even feel bored by my connection, because I was feeling bored with some people's conversations. I was like, I'm not interested in talking about that anymore. I really want to talk about these things. And I see the world in a different way. So even the things that I find funny or the things that I find, entertaining, not the same as they used to be. So even the memes and reels and stuff that I was looking at, I was like, this doesn't feel funny anymore. Oh my God, this is hilarious. And they're like, oh, it's not funny. And you just start to notice that your things that you value are changing, right? And they're not the same anymore, even though you might love the person so much, which I think is the hardest ways to, when you are parting ways with someone you really love, but you're just not aligned on so many other levels. You can still love somebody and not be in their life. So it's a weird one, because we often think that we need to take all our loved ones with us all along the journey. That's Cancer. And no, we don't have to do that. Right. Second question is, what past relationship patterns do I need to release to move forward with greater independence? That's that Aries North Node. So where are you codependent? Where are you relying on other people to say, good job, or you did a great thing, or you're looking for that validation before you say yes to something or move forward? And really, the validation comes from here, right? Your inner child and you need to come together and heal. And then the third question is, how can I balance my emotional needs with my aspirations for growth and independence? So we need to have our emotional needs taken care of, and also our growth and independence. Like, we need them both to come together, because we still need connection in our lives. So we're not like, damn everybody, I'm on my own journey. We need other people in our lives. We're biologically wired for connection. But the people who are, I think the saying that's coming to mind right now is, you are the five people that you spend the most time with, right? So who are you spending a lot of time with? Are they Debbie Downers, or are they uplifters? Are they, soul coaches that are just like cheering you on your mission? Or are they, ruminating and continuing to spiral in their own lives? Like, bless, right? So, I mean, I want to support them. And I also am on my own journey, right? They don't get to be part of the five in my inner circle. because that's the energy that you're absorbing and amplifying you, right? If you're the highest vibe in your tribe, that's a lot. That's a hard thing. You're upholding the whole energy of the whole tribe, right? Find a tribe that is exactly either like you or you're in the middle of that. If you're the lowest vibe person in the room, I mean, being open to being uplifted into the vibes of others is great. There's nothing wrong with being that. But if you're holding it down, then you're in the wrong room, right? You got to be in the middle. If you're holding it, if you're the only one holding it up, I've been in rooms like that. It is exhausting. You're like, I don't even know why I'm here, right? So pay attention to that in your own life. And use this time to set intentions that honor both your need for emotional security and your journey towards personal growth and independence. So this is a good new moon, and it's the last aspect for the week. So it's a powerful one. So there's gonna be a lot of emotions. There's still some watery planets in there that are adding and amplifying the intuition, the emotions. But emotional intelligence requires you to be in the body. It requires you to feel what you're feeling. If you're in your head all the time, you're going to miss all this goodness, all the things the intuition is trying to tell you through your body. All right. So wishing you the best week ahead. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Enjoy the first week of summer. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere watching me, enjoy the first week of winter. I adore you all. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me through all of this. I have some exciting new projects coming up for actually starting in September, October, November. So stay tuned for that as we put the finishing touches on those. And I'm just so excited to see what comes for all of us. So wishing you the best week. Take care. Bye.